Welcome back. It's your Auntie Midori. Today, let's talk about aftercare. What is aftercare? Well, aftercare. Welcome back. It's your Auntie Midori. And today we're going to talk about aftercare. So, aftercare, duh, it's what you do to take care afterwards. All right, so let me explain it to you in a bit more depth, okay? Aftercare is the bit that happens after kinky play. And it's actually really important. Why is it important? Well, if you have a really hot time, a really good time, then our head is in a place of pleasure, neurochemically speaking. It's all sorts of like a pleasure scramble up there. And we also got to put aside our everyday and adulting concern and focus upon play. Well, going from that and transitioning into all the adulting and the world and the responsibility and all of that is a bit of a bummer. All right. But not just the bummer of a mood, but there's also neurochemical stuff going on, right? So if we're hitting a brain juice and woo, and then we have to come down and deal with normal stuff. If you don't have good landing, it's going to, well, mess with our heads and mess with our moods. And if any of us have ever had like feeling bummer or blues or irritable or cranky or sad or annoyed or just kind of not in the mood to deal with the world or all manners of feels that are less than productive and less than makes you happy, well, it probably means that the transition didn't go well. So I hear a lot of people talking about aftercare as being like a snuggle and a blanket and a glass of water. Well, the thing is, what you need to transition from happy fun time to adulting in the world and letting your neurochemicals and your body chemicals calm the hell down is going to differ from person to person to person to person and to person to person. And it might also depend within the same person, depending on context. However, wherever you go, whatever you do, there you are. So you're responsible for taking care of yourself and knowing what it takes to take care of yourself. And you're also responsible to tell the other person you're playing with what you might need. Let me give you a quick definition on my definition of aftercare. My definition of aftercare is whatever it is that the participating individuals need to regain equilibrium. What do you need to regain equilibrium? Let's think of it that way, okay? Now, who needs aftercare? Is it the person bottoming? Yes. Is it the person topping? Yes. Is it the third party that may be lucky enough to be a third in the playtime? Yes. In other words, anyone gets to have and deserves to have what they need to regain equilibrium. Anyone. Yes, even people who are topping and dominating. There's this myth out there that like if somebody is topping or dominating, that somehow that they don't need aftercare. Bullshit. Okay? This is about what games people play. So think about it. Any of you all out there run a marathon? When you run a marathon, okay, I think it's kind of nuts. I don't run a marathon. You run a marathon and your body's going whee, and then afterwards, the body does whoo. And then in order to function here, okay, this is like normal functionality. Well, if you ran a marathon, you'd take a break, you eat some food, drink some water, you know, rest your muscles, maybe sleep overnight before you go to like back to work. We don't expect you to go from run a marathon to immediately, right? So it's just not humane. Now, here's also another thing. If you have an awesome scene, wee, and you have incompatible aftercare, What are you going to remember? How are you going to remember the scene? Now, let's say if you have an scene, but you have individually appropriate methods of transition and regaining equilibrium, then that scene will be remembered better. Now, if you have crappy scene, but we do the best we can in terms of individually appropriate aftercare, guess what? We might have a little more resiliency. It's not going to turn it into an awesome scene, but at least maybe feelings won't be hurt as much. Okay, so here are some things that you should think about what you need for aftercare. Questions to ask yourself before playing, whether you're topping, bottoming, middling, you're a sideways ferret, I don't care. Okay. What do I need for aftercare? What does it entail? Who is it by? And does it go in any phases that myself or the other person should know about? So it's not always going to be a cuddle. It's not always going to be a blankie. It might be, it might not be. I might want to be left alone. Now, if I want to be left alone afterwards to recompose myself, but I didn't tell you that, and right after our hot playtime, I walk away, your feelings might be hurt. And if you come up towards me and I'm needing to come to my equilibrium on my own, I might feel crowded, vice versa. So, know for yourself, what do I need for aftercare? What does it entail? Who is it by? Because the aftercare doesn't have to be with the person you're playing with. It could be with somebody else. And does it have phases that I need to know about? So for me, sometimes after a really hot scene, about 24 hours, 48 hours later, I really need to go to the boxing gym. And if I don't, I hit the blues. And that's from me topping. So it's real. Okay. Now, what part of this should I tell the other person? Well, me personally, I love a little emoji text check-in like a day afterwards. Love it. But I don't necessarily need to tell the person that I like to go to the boxing gym 2 days later. Or I might and just send a text saying, thinking of you at the boxing gym, working on the heavy bag, thinking of you. That could happen. And once you know this about yourself, tell it to your partner, even if it's your long-term partner, because maybe they've not thought about it, about how much that glass of water is important to you, or whatever it is. And then ask your partner, what do you need for aftercare to regain equilibrium? What does it entail? Who is it by? And does it go in any phases I should know about? Practice that a bit. Give it a try. Okay, I'll see you in the next episode.